Hello everyone, welcome to the IAS Mentor Modern Indian History series. We are continuing the socio-religious reform movements. We have seen so far what are the various factors and also various leaders across the country. There is one important topic with respect to this one, that is issue related to education and press, because education and press played a very important role in bringing the reformation in the mindset of common Indians. With respect to mentorship program, we have clear-cut details. Please follow the IAS Mentor for complete details. We have posted PDF also. You can keep following it. Let us understand what are the various initiatives taken by both government as well as individuals in spreading modern education. Because when it comes to reformation, modern education is a very important component. Even if we consider today's life also, as of 21st century we are living in, again, if we want to modernize our society, again, one of the best solutions which we give is modern education. If you want to remove the social evils related to girl children, like infanticide, child marriages, even today also these issues are going on. If you become district magistrate, what kind of steps you will take? If you get the question in ethics also, what kind of steps you will take, means one of the solutions which you are going to give is education to the people, because education changes the mindset of the people, and also awareness. This awareness comes from the press at that particular point of time. If we take the present day context, that awareness come from social media, books, literature, movies. These are the modern day instruments of change. At that particular point of time, education and press played an important role in socio-religious reformation. When it comes to the mains answer, if there is a question related to socio-religious reformation, then whatever we have understood so far, that is perfect answer. Like what are the various social evils that were prevalent, and also various organizations and various leaders. One of the components in bringing that reformation is modern education also, press also played. Here you will get so many facts. These facts are very important from the prelims point of view. Let us understand. Year wise, you are going to understand. You will get a lot of facts. But whatever they are doing, you have to see in the broader context what were their aims and what was the impact. Now, when it comes to the British establishment, East India Company got Bengal. They recruited Indians into the administration. Now, when it comes to the administration, they need someone who can understand both English also and understand the local knowledge also. What is the capital? Fort William. Why we frequently visit Bengal region? Because this is the first place where they conquered and is the capital. Governor of Bengal became Governor General of Bengal. Later, Governor General of Bengal became Governor of India. Governor General of India. Later, Viceroy. In that way, that is why we frequently go to the capital. And also, because it is the first place where changes started, naturally, any developments are going to start from there. Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who is considered as the father of Indian Renaissance, comes from Bengal region. Fort William. When Warren Hastings was the governor or governor general, can you remember? Governor General of Fort William from 1773 to 1785. He was the administrator. He need bureaucrats. He abolished dual government. When it comes to dual government, only revenue department was their concern, not the judiciary department, not the law and order department. Any other responsibility was not there in dual government. But it was abolished. regulating act also came. That is why now gradually they are taking care of both revenue department as well as general administration. Bureaucrats are required, judges are required, lower level civil servants are required, top level bureaucrats they require, local level civil servants also they require. Now they need someone intermediaries between locals and the administration. Administration, they are comfortable in English, but local people were understanding local language, vernacular. But when it comes to the knowledge which is required for the administration, which is required for Dharma Shastras, which is required for Islamic law, they are in Persian, Sanskrit, Arabic. If you want to know about Islamic jurisprudence, you have to know Arabic language and Persian language. If you want to know about Hindu Dharma Shastras, you have to know about Sanskrit. That is why during his time period, he is going to establish Calcutta Madrasa in 1781. Calcutta Madrasa. It is a college for Islamic studies. This took place in 1781. In 1791, after Warren Hastings, another Governor General will come. But these efforts already started. These efforts were going on. In 1784, a very famous organization was also established to understand Indian traditions, Asian traditions. Do you remember the organization? Asiatic Society of Bengal. Asiatic Society of Bengal. This is also there. 1781 Calcutta Madrasa. Now you see, if you know the sequence of events, then you can connect various dots. Then like a story, you can remember multiple facts. Otherwise, mugging up facts cannot help you because you cannot remember. So many facts will come. You have multiple subjects to study. In 1791, in Varanasi or Benares, a Sanskrit college was established by Jonathan Duncan. Sanskrit College in 1791. 81 Calcutta Madrasa, 1791 Sanskrit College, a local administrator, Jonathan Duncan. All right. This helps in understanding Hindu scriptures, Sanskrit literature, Sanskrit college help. Now, in 1790s, Sirampur missionaries were also very active. Christian missionaries, they were also trying to promote English education. Now, Sanskrit education, Islamic education, English education. Now, Bengal is a place where all these kinds of knowledge was going on. But when it comes to the European developments, in 1789, French Revolution took place. As a result, modern ideals like equality, liberty, fraternity. That means if you apply this concept to India, Varna system is against these principles. Religious discrimination against these principles. Religious discrimination means untouchables are not allowed to enter into temples is against this principle. Untouchability practice itself inhuman against this principle. Women discrimination against this principle. Sati practice against this principle. Patriarchy against this principle. Liberalism against Indian dictatorship or despotism. Identify They are talking about these principles, democracy. When it comes to India, Nawabs, rulers, they will not share the power with the common people, whereas common people are wanting to be part of the governance, part of the political structure, democracy, liberalism. When it comes to liberalism, if someone criticizes the ruler, then they are going to be immediately punished. But Europeans are expecting liberalism. In this way, when modern ideals, this is what modern ideals, where privileges should not be there in the society, equality should be there in the society. By birth, no one is superior. Everyone should earn that merit. Everyone should earn their respectable place in the society by hard work through merit system. That is what they are expecting. Now, when these kind of ideals are going on, British Parliament also got influenced by this, because in British system also, English people were also having these kind of issues. There are people who do not have this kind of liberal values. They were fighting against the existing privileges that were there enjoyed by the nobles in English society. British Parliament also used to debate about these reforms. And now, through Regulating Act and Pitt's India Act, they now controlling Indian territories also. They want to bring these values to India also. This is where through Christian missionaries, they can bring the change, and through government action, through government policies, they can bring that change. That is why when it comes to Indian context, the governor generals who came here also, they were also inspired by those ideals. Sometimes they want to do reformation within the Indian context, but if there is any conflict with the broader imperialistic ambition of Britain, they will not bring that reformation. As long as this reformation will strengthen their power, they will do. If it weakens their power, they will not do. To such extent, they will try to do. In that effort, they brought certain changes. Next, when Cornwallis was there. Now, once again, I will draw, then you can easily understand. Lord Cornwallis. Again, Fort William. Lord Cornwallis. Early 1790s, he was the Governor General. And he wanted bureaucrats, efficient bureaucrats. And he was the one who introduced modern day civil service. He is also called father of modern day Indian civil service. Now, if Indian civil service is there, now they have to know the knowledge of European standards also, Indian standards also. To give the training, when Lord Wellesley in early 1800s, when he was the Governor General, he created a college called Fort William College. Why this Fort William College? This is to train bureaucrats. But again, in these bureaucrats also, the top layer will be English people only, bottom layer Indians. But they have to give some time training how to run this show. That is why this college was created, Fort William College, by Lord Wellesley. Remember, so many facts are coming. Each and every fact is a potential prelims question. If you see previous year questions, whatever we are going to discuss in this class, you will see multiple questions from the PYQs. That is why I have segregated this topic and I am giving you as a separate class. Fort William College, created by Lord Wellesley, it is to train bureaucrats. But as I said, if they train the civil servants within India, they are going to get affected with modern ideals like equality, liberty, fraternity. Now, if Indians come to know about modern values, it is against the exploitative policies of the British. That is why the court of directors told that this college should not be here. you close down that college there. We will train bureaucrats, civil servants, but they should come to London and there they will get the training. And whatever subjects we teach them, they are going to apply there. What kind of subjects they will do there? Once they go there, they will teach Greek, Latin, these are the subjects, Western values, and completely disconnect with Indian values. Nevertheless, this is an attempt to bring certain training to the bureaucrats who are going to be appointed as Indian civil servants. Remember Calcutta Madrasa, Sanskrit College by Jonathan Duncan, Asiatic Society of Bengal, Fort William College, and associated people. Asiatic Society of Bengal, William Jones. When it comes to William Jones, who was he? He was one of the judges of Supreme Court of Fort William. Remember this, Supreme Court of Fort William, one of the judges, William Jones, and he was the one who was instrumental in creating Asiatic Society of Bengal. You see how many facts, but everything is connected. As their administration is deepening, they required certain changes, certain reforms, certain institutions to strengthen their control over Indian affairs. That is why these are the steps gradually it is happening. And when it comes to from the British side, when they are doing, when Christian missionaries are active, now a new class of educated people are going to emerge out of this ecosystem. For example, when it comes to Sanskrit College, a new set of people are going to emerge. Calcutta Madrasa, new set of people are going to emerge. No doubt they are going to have command over Sanskrit, command over Arabic and Persian. But when they are educated people, they know what are the subjects that are prevalent in European society also, what Christian missionaries are also doing. Now, when they are talking about modern values to criticize Indians, now they are also getting influenced by this. They wanted their society also get reformed. They wanted a reformation on the lines of modern values, but at the same time preserve Indian traditions also. This is the circumstance, this is the atmosphere in which Raja Ram Mohan Rai is taking birth. Raja Ram Mohan Rai was born in 1770s. By 1790s, he is in early 20s. Now, by 1800s, he is going to be in 30s. He is very active. He is well aware of French Revolution. He is well aware of European Revolution. He is well aware of British parliamentary system and what British Parliament are debating when they are talking about democracy, liberalism. But when it comes to Indian society is not equal society. That is where he also got influenced by this kind of ecosystem. He also established certain organizations and helped some individuals to establish certain colleges as well. In that context, Hindu school later came to be called in 1817. Here, 1817 or 18 Hindu school or later came to be called as Hindu college was established by David Hare with the help of Raja Ram Mohan Rai and others. Jonathan Duncan, Banaras College, Sanskrit College, David Hare, Hindu School or College with the help of Raja Ram Mohan Rai. This 1817-18. Now, just a few years before, in 1813, Charter Act was passed. What is Charter Act? 1 lakh rupees must be allocated for spreading. Now you see kind of atmosphere by 1813. These many developments have taken place. It is talking about to spread learning, both Indian knowledge as well as Western knowledge. But when it comes to the spending of this amount, there was intense debate whether Indian knowledge is good or Western knowledge is good. In that way, they did not spend money at all. That is why whatever education efforts, whatever awareness is going on in the society, mostly because of the individual efforts like Raja Rammohn Rai, David Hare, and Christian missionaries, and so on. Next, by 1820s, by 1820s, there was one more college was also established, that is known as Sanskrit College. In 1824, Sanskrit College. Now, if you identify this, Calcutta Madrasa, Sanskrit College, Hindu College, even Raja Rammohn Rai and socio-religious reformers also bringing out Indian traditions like Upanishadic thought and Islamic thought to reform the Indian society. When they are talking about that, there were different changes emerging in Europe itself. By 1820s, in Europe, because of a new kind of trend, utilitarian philosophy, they were talking about these Asian values are irrelevant now. Their rulers were very despotic. They are not modernized people. Now it is the responsibility of the English people to modernize them. Even in the process, if some people get offended, some orthodox conservative people will definitely get offended if their Sanskrit, if their Arabic are not given respect, means they are going to be affected. But overall, it is going to help the society. That is why Indian and Asian education or knowledge is irrelevant now. We have to give English education. That was decided by Macaulay Minute in 1835. In 1835, Macaulay Minute, you know, Lord Macaulay, when it comes to Thomas Babington Macaulay, his full name, in 1833. Do you remember? Charteract was passed. Through this act only, Governor General of Bengal became Governor General of India. Executive Council members also increased by one more person called law member. Whenever they meet for making legislation or law, this law member is going to be attending. That law member, first law member was Macaulay, and he was also was head of the committee to decide whether English education is better or Asian education is better. Anglo-Orientalist controversy. Finally, he decided that Western education is best. One good library shelf is having more worth than entire Asiatic knowledge. So that kind of point of view, rigid point of view, he was having strong opinion about Western. He was strongly biased towards Western knowledge. He wanted to impose Western knowledge through English as a medium. That took place in 1835. Now, if you give English education to certain class of people, only upper class will understand. When someone asked what about the lower class, he told it is the responsibility of this upper class to teach the ideals of Western value to the masses. This philosophy is called downward filtration theory. Downward filtration. But when it comes to the upper class, whoever getting English education, they are getting opportunities. They are getting opportunities in the bureaucracy, government service, judiciary, because the administration is now operating in English. Whoever know English, they are getting opportunities, and their aim is to get the job, not to give that knowledge to the masses. As a result, the illiteracy continued to be more and more in Indian society. Definitely few people benefited out of this. Some of them were worried about the job, and some of them are going to function as socio-religious reformers. Could you see in which context one after the other the dots are getting connected? You have to connect all these dots. Then only you can understand what kind of philosophy during British Raj was going on. All these things were happening within 200 years of their administration. This is how their strong control. And these are the people, these English educated bureaucrats are the one who are the backbone of British administration. In the initial phases, in this time period, now when they are talking about modern values, Indian reformers and Indian leaders were also believing the British that whatever steps they are taking, it is going to help Indians. That is why till 1900s, Indian leadership did not criticize British administration per se. Whenever they brought certain liberal values, they were appreciated. Whatever values they are against the British values, then they were criticized. But overall, they were believing that British administration is good for India because British Indian society is lagging behind the modern values. These steps are required. We have to support the administration. That is why Raja Ram Mohan Rai supported the British administration. When some conservative elements opposed Sati abolition, Raja Ram Mohan Rai petitioned against those conservative elements, against Indians only, that this Sati abolition is very important. It has to happen. Otherwise, it is not in favor of modern values. It is a murder, not any kind of custom. Upanishads did not appreciate, initial Rigvedic thought did not appreciate, but it came later. That is why it is not relevant for the present day context. Could you say that is why initial leadership were happy about these administration and these reforms, but only these values did not reach the people on large scale. That is why it is a gradual process. Macaulay Minute, he decided the controversy, Anglicist Orientalist controversy, Anglo-Orientalist controversy in favor of Anglicists. Orientalist tradition is not in tune with the modern values. Let us give Western values only through English medium. But by 1850s, the masses were not getting any kind of benefit. They were still like that only. That is why in 1854, Board of Control President Woods, Charles Woods was there. He issued one dispatch, Woods Dispatch. He gave this: downward filtration theory should not be there because it is not reaching the masses. Direct education must be given to the masses, and also vernacular language. English is not the only language. You should not force English on everyone. In the elementary school, in the primary stage, vernacular language. In the higher stage, English language. So in the higher education, English; in primary education, vernacular, so that they will understand in the beginning phase in their own language, mother tongue, and as gradually they are going to mature, they are going to learn additional language also, additional knowledge also, so that they will get access to the Western knowledge, modern knowledge. This Wood's dispatch with respect to education is known as Magna Carta. Identify this Magna Carta in the context of British parliamentary reforms, liberal reforms. Again, Farooq C.R. Farman, also called Magna Carta of British trade policies, British trade concessions. With respect to education, Wood's dispatch is also known as Magna Carta of British policy with respect to education. In this way, they brought certain reforms in this direction. This is 1854, but in 1857, Great Revolt took place, and they understood that we cannot reform Indian society, we have to rule. Now, it is their survival itself. Forget about reforming Indian society, forget about utilitarian theory, forget about modern values. First of all, you have to survive as a ruler in India. That is why thereafter they are not going to show that much interest. Rather, whatever weaknesses that are there in Indian society, they are going to use those weaknesses for dividing and rule India. Divide and rule. So divide a tempera, divide and rule policy, they are going to strongly follow after 1857. Despite that, some more education related policies will come, that we will see as we proceed in the next chapters. But till 1857, these are the important developments with respect to bringing modern education. During this development only, first engineering college at Roorkee was also established in 1847. In 1847, today it is called IIT Roorkee. It was engineering college, first engineering college in Asia, in India, Roorkee, in Uttarakhand, present day Uttarakhand. In 1857, three universities also were established. Three universities were also established: Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta universities. With respect to English, with respect to education, with respect to specifically for girls, in 1849, Betune schools, Betune Betune was there, and he was one of the enlightened person. He established schools and colleges for girl education. These are some more efforts with respect to bringing modern education. All right, this is about education. Now, what is the another instrument in bringing change in the when it comes to bringing reforms in Indian society? That is press. Press. Few points only. When it comes to press, the first newspaper was established in 1780. In 1780 means again Warren Hastings time period. What is the newspaper name? The Bengal Gazette. The Bengal Gazette. And it tried to highlight the corruption that is taking place within the British administration. And it is directly attacking Warren Hastings only. That is why Warren Hastings made it close on some charges. But this tradition of questioning and talking about modern values, that tradition started. This press encouraged other people also to establish some more newspapers. In 1800, Lord Wellesley, he was the Governor General. In 1799 and 1800, he even regulated press, fearing that the French Revolution, like equality, liberty, fraternity, it may spread in India also. They may revolt against the British administration. That is why he imposed censor also. Censorship of press in 1799. Censorship of press. Now you see, on one hand, liberal values are going on, but whenever government feels that these values are endangering their survival itself, endangering their control, then they are going to bring that kind of restrictions. That is what during freedom fight also, they are going to bring various laws like Sedition Act, they will bring Rowlatt Act, they are going to bring like that. On one hand, they will say that it is because of us nationalism, India as a nation was created, nationalism ideals were promoted because of our education, our values. But on the other hand, if Indians spread the idea of nationalism, they are going to bring certain restrictions like this. In 1799, this was in Bengal region. In 1789, in Bombay also, the Bombay Herald. The Bombay Herald. So the Bengal Gazette is the first newspaper, and the person who established this is James Augustus Hickey. James Augustus Hickey. He was the one who established, later it was closed, in Bombay, Bombay Herald in 1789. By 10 years, in 1799, one censorship law also passed. Gradually, they are going to bring certain censorship. They are going to bring one law, that is in 1823, licensing regulations in 1823. Licensing Regulation Act. They say that if anyone create a press, newspaper, they have to take the license. Otherwise, that is illegal. Government can seize. Before that, in 1821 and 22, Raja Rammohn Rai is very active during this time period. He himself has started certain newspapers like Samvad Kaumadi, Miratul Akbar. When it comes to these, Miratul Akbar and Samvad Kaumadi, he established two newspapers. Miratul Akbar was stopped. Miratul Akbar newspaper was stopped because of this one. So on one hand, they say that they are bringing modern values, but on the other hand, if the newspapers are spreading these ideals, and they are going to bring this, because they are going to criticize government also, they are expecting government to reform more. For example, the Charter Act 1813 allocated 1 lakh rupees, but they are not spending. These newspapers are going to demand that you spend that money, because famines are happening, illiteracy is spreading, diseases are spreading, you do something for the welfare of the people. That is what British Parliament is every day debating, but why you are not acting in the same spirit here also? Whenever they question it, and they are going to bring certain reforms like this. In 1835, Charles Metcalfe, after who is the first Governor General of entire India, William Bentinck. After William Bentinck, Charles Metcalfe becomes Governor General of India, and he removed this legislation and he gave freedom to the press. That is why he was also called Liberator of Press. Liberator of Press. In this way, Charles Metcalfe was praised as liberator of press. Then 1857, when it comes to 1857, Great Revolt took place, and immediately they are going to impose so many restrictions on the press, because they are afraid that this 1857 revolt is like French Revolution. Since French Revolution identify this, they were afraid if some newspapers write about ideals of French Revolution itself, they were afraid. And if they felt this kind of revolt is like French Revolution, now do you think they are going to allow such kind of freedom of press? No. This is why the double standard means this only. When it comes to Western values, they say liberalism is one of the core foundation of Western democracies. But on the other hand, when it comes to India, they say that no such thing is available, and they will say that this liberalism is not suitable for India. We will decide when India is requiring, because Indians were barbarians, and Indians need like a headmaster in a stick in the hand to discipline Indians, barbarians. This kind of mindset they were having, uncivilized people. That is why in 1857, when it has shaken the foundation of the empire, East India Company had to completely ended, the power of East India Company completely ended, the Company Raj ended, completely handed over to the Queen. That kind of development, 1857 revolt, they are going to impose a lot of restrictions. Despite that, Indian freedom fighters are going to find various mechanisms to spread the ideals of liberalism, nationalism, equality, liberty, fraternity, and exposing the exploitative policies of the British that we will see after 1857 revolt and so on. So this is about education and press in bringing socio-religious reform. So there can be a question that explain the role of education and press in bringing socio-religious reforms in India, because they are the important tools and instruments in spreading the ideals of modernism. These modern values were to some extent were spread through these instruments. Both English people as well as Indians contributed in spreading modern education and liberalism through press in India. All right, let me give you the questions. So many questions I can prepare, but few questions I will give. Number one, what is the first newspaper which was established in 1780? Next one, Jonathan Duncan associated with which institution? Third one, Fort William College was established by. Fort William College was established by. Who was called liberator of the press? Who was called liberator of the press? Please answer these questions. The moment you answer these kind of questions, your brain will think about the associated points also associated with this particular issue. So that is why I am giving you this practice. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.